Your point about efficiency is a very important one. We have become much more efficient. And I wonder if you could speak for a moment about the intersection of creativity within that, because creativity is a necessity in almost anything in the world, in our lives, in our jobs, in our families. With this efficiency, we're not turning into robots. We still need to have that burst of inspiration or something that really inspires that change. Can you talk a little bit about where and how to cultivate that if we are turning into semi-zombies sometimes?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think your point is an absolutely great one to help support my strong point of view that we all need to embrace technology, but at the same time understand and really believe that technology is an incredible enabler. So I am not one of those people that believe that in 2050, all the computers are going to run the humans, and we're just going to become the human bots for computers. Nope. And the reason for that is because of the amazing creative minds that humans have. And I think right now is the perfect example of that, where just about every single organization has had to pivot. Every organization. And of course, we've had the wonderment of being able to leverage so many different types of technologies to do that better. But that pivoting process came from here and came from teams of people working together. So to answer your question, in my view, innovation and being able to pivot and being creative is never a single person sport. It's always a team sport. And the extent to which it's a team of cross-functional, highly diverse people, the better solutions, the better new alternatives, the better new innovations, solutions will come from that. And the reason is simple. You're dealing with people that have different perspectives. Whether those perspectives come from backgrounds, functions, races, ages, genders, religions, et cetera, bringing a diverse group of people together to solve a problem will always yield better, more effective, creative results.
Thank you. And that's actually a perfect segue into my next question. I really wanted to talk about your latest book, Lifting People Up, The Power of Recognition. How does recognition of these diverse voices and diverse backgrounds, how does that play into management these days when we are trying to pivot and figure out how to work in this new environment where we're dealing with new challenges? How do we bring recognition into play here as well?
Well, and also what I'll comment on is the mnemonic device of lift up, which correlates to the title of the book, Lifting People Up. So let me just run through the LIFTUP real quickly, because I think this gives a pretty good guideline for management on what we see as kind of the formula for providing praise and recognition in the workplace, which we say is so important. The L stands for listen. And that, as I've already mentioned, is a key skill set that's needed by management. But you know what I find fascinating? If you look at the letters in the word listen, they spell silent. And right, in order to listen, you can't just keep talking. You have to be silent in order to listen. And so that's what the first L is all about: listening to your employees and listening to each other, and also listening to yourself and being self-aware in a way that enables you to listen to your own gut and your own intuition. The second I of lift up stands for include. And include not only inclusion as we think of it today of diversity and inclusion, but include people's thoughts, include people's ideas, integrate them into your own solution and your own answer, and make them feel important, but make them feel important legitimately, not just a patronizing pat on the back, but to show them how that idea is included in the solution or the answer or the recommendation. The F is freedom. And I have a term that I coined a number of years ago that I use for describing how I think innovation teams should work. And I describe it as disciplined freedom. And disciplined freedom means that, yeah, you got to play by some rules. You got to have some guidelines, but you've also got to give people the freedom of expressing those guidelines and implementing those in a way that will enable them to also bring their own personal passion and experience into play, so that it can't be rigid, it can't be bureaucratic. That just doesn't work if we're going to really provide a culture of praise and recognition. So we've got to give people disciplined freedom. The T is trust. And trust, in my view, is the most important thing to engender. You know, at Kuczmarski Innovation and Chicago Innovation, we have, for all of our employees, unlimited vacation days, unlimited sick days, and unlimited personal days. And often I'll have people that will ask me over the years, well, how do you keep track of that? And I say, we don't keep track of that. That's the whole point. We really don't keep track. And it works out great. People know that if they're going to take off the next 2 weeks, hey, they got to get people to either cover for them, or they got to get stuff done ahead of time, or they may have to, even it's on their 2-week vacation, they may need to take a half a day and do some work in order to just keep things rolling. So that's all based on, that's the concept of trust, is that we have to trust each other and trust employees to deliver and to deliver on their promises. The U is use praise. And one of the questions that I love to ask senior leaders is, well, what do you think of praise? Oh, praise is so important. It's a really critical aspect of a innovation culture. And then I'll say, okay, great. Well, how often do you give praise? Oh, not enough. I need to give more praise. And the answer is, yeah, you do need to give more praise, but it has to be authentic praise. And authentic praise is the key to it, because sometimes I'll get asked, well, can't you overpraise? Well, my answer is no, you absolutely cannot overpraise if it's authentic, and if it's real, and if it's based on some tangible signs, tangible actions, tangible comments, tangible things done that are worthy of it. The P really tries to wrap things up in terms of overall productivity that comes from praise. So it's really praise and recognition and rewards and all of those, kind of surround an innovation culture. Now, when I get asked the question about rewards, sometimes managers say, well, we have an annual dinner where we give out awards. And I'll say, great. Does that include financial checks, or does that include savings bonds, or does that include? And it really does need to have a combination of the two. So just to give non-financial rewards alone, in my humble opinion, isn't quite enough. You really need to do both. Now, does it need to be, huge dollars? No, it doesn't. But it needs to be more than sure needs to be more than $100 gift certificate. But it also, I think, would be great. It's really great when it's based on performance. So once a team has launched a successful new service into the marketplace and it has generated success, give them 2% of the future, give them 2% of the earnings that have been generated from that. The company gets to keep 98% of the earnings, but give 2% to the team that's been involved in the creation of it.